This is Good Morning Uganda.
Thank you for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to the newsreel this morning, where we're discussing something very, very important. It is a global talk, and that is issues regarding climate change. Now, today we are looking at youth innovation for climate change innovations. Now, for climate change action. There's so much happening globally, but we are looking at those innovations by the youth to curb challenges that are being posed to us by the environment. And I have two interesting young people. Now with me, I have Isaac Ndiamuhaki, who happens to be the country lead, Green Africa Youth Organization. Good morning.
Good morning.
And at the extreme end, I have, I hope I pronounced this name right, Kontimin Kenfak.
Yeah.
So he happens to be the founder of a climate change organization known as 3Es for Africa. Now what these do, well, I have them here, and I'm happy that they are youth, and we are discussing innovation that will help us adopt or mitigate the impact of climate change. Now I'll begin with Kenfaki. When we talk about Africa Climate Change Innovation Challenge, which is the thing that is being discussed today, please give us a background. What is this all about, and how does your organization come in here?
Thank you very much. So the ACIC, which is the African Climate Innovation Challenge, it's an initiative or a competition or program, you would say, which was launched and currently being implemented by three key stakeholders. GAYO, Green African Youth Organization, my organization 3Es for Africa, and Startup Launch Africa. I mean, at the end of the day, the main objective of the ACIC is to ensure that we can equip or provide the young people, young Africans, with the tools and with the entrepreneurship skills and knowledge that they need to be able to build and to be able to grow their own climate solutions on the African continent. So maybe to give you a little bit of numbers, over the last couple of years, we've had on average between 500 to 700 applications so far. And we've also been able to select a good number of high-quality startups into the cohorts of the ACIC every year. And as time goes on, they get virtual training online from experts from different fields, and then they get to come to the final pitch event, which is why we are here in Uganda today, where we're going to have the final pitch event for them to pitch and potentially win a prize money in front of a jury.
Now, that is very interesting. So these youth compete.
Yes, they compete against one another. Very important.
Yes, to come up with innovations.
Yeah, innovative climate solutions.
Innovative climate solutions. Now, Isaac, you've worked with these youth for quite a long time. How has it been, and what is that exciting innovation or initiative that we have now?
Well, thank you so much, and happy to be here, our viewers. So, looking at what the youth are doing in the context of solving the climate change problem is quite amazing. The youth are taking lead in very, very important and key sectors to transform economies, innovations in energy, having sustainable energy, innovations in climate smart agriculture, innovations targeting that we should transform the way we even construct, because we have entrepreneurs who have ideas on how to do even sustainable construction. So looking at the youth in this way, we have quite a number of impacts made, and the impacts span across socio-economic aspects, where they are solving a social problem while also making some money out of it, and also creating so many jobs, and in this context we call them green jobs. So the young people are taking charge and taking lead to see that there is a lot they can bring to table when it comes to acting on climate change, but in the business perspective.
Now, Kenfaki, this brings me back to you. When you look at this year's theme, it places youth at a central or a pivotal point in finding climate solutions. Now, why do you think that the youth are very important in the climate change action movement? Why would we focus on youth so much?
I mean, if you look at the dynamics surrounding the climate change, the climate crisis in general, you realize that the youth are at the forefront of the climate crisis. So oftentimes they are the first people affected, but we've also made the experience that they are usually the first people that are very resilient and quick to find innovative solutions to the challenges that they face on a daily basis. So that's why it's really important to make sure that they get a voice, but also to make sure that they get the support and the funding that they need to be able to build and grow the different climate solutions that they have. So, and that's essentially where the ACIC kind of steps in, to make sure that they have all the support that they need and that they're able to kind of like create adequate solutions to address the climate crisis.
ACIC, your organization has supported quite a number of youth to innovate and come up with solutions, climate solutions. Could you share with us some of the success stories that also that have been raised through this platform of Africa Action for Climate Change Impact?
Yes, we have quite a number of them, and locally we have a youth enterprise called ACIC Kwanza Uganda. It is transforming renewable energy and post-harvest handling of agricultural products here. And in this, they are bringing clean cooking solutions. They are building solar dryers for post-harvest handling of agricultural products. Now, going across to other countries. Of course, I'm speaking in the context of the African Climate Innovation Challenge and how it has transformed the way youth are piloting and scaling up their climate innovations. If you go across Ghana, we have entrepreneurs that are working in sustainable construction, entrepreneurs that are, harnessing wind power to generate energy, and this continues across to Nigeria, where we have other entrepreneurs that are also doing work around clean cooking and also carbon market projects, which are quite vital when we come to these discussions. And of course, we call upon any other young person, of course, to take charge and take the lead when it comes to climate change. Of course, we look at climate change as a problem, but to an entrepreneur, it is actually an opportunity to take the lead and also cause the change that they are ought to cause. Yes.
Now, that said, I come back to Kenfak here. Now, when we talk about innovation, mostly in climate change, there are a lot of challenges, one of them being funding, because with innovation you need money, you need to invest something. Sometimes it's try and fail, you succeed, you may not. So it's quite, and the youth may not have that money. How has ACIC been of help to these young people?
Yeah, I mean, one of the funding, as you mentioned, is really a big problem for young entrepreneurs, especially in the climate space. We've also, however, realized that oftentimes one important problem is also making sure that you have the mentorship, right? Building a startup and knowing how to plan and to grow your startup, it requires you need to have the resource, the knowledge. So we've realized that sometimes having access to this knowledge and resources can even make a bigger impact than the funding itself. So which is why we've built the ACIC in a way that we do have the selected startups have the chance to engage with experts where they get to learn a lot in terms of how to do fundraising, what to pay attention to, on how to see the climate change as an opportunity, so to speak, for the local communities. So we have all these topics that the different startups get to benefit from. But at the end of the day, we of course still do have the funding, which is also very important. Maybe another important point is the visibility as well. Right? At the end of the day, we want to show that African youth has the ideas and has the resources to be able to create climate solutions on its own, right? Of course, with the support of all the stakeholders and other partners. So I think these are the things that the ACIC is doing to incorporate to make sure that the startups have access to all these different resources.
Now, Isaac, 2025, what are the areas that ACI is going to be focusing on?
Yeah, so 2025 ACIC is really balanced across different sectors of economies, and of course this was a bit intentional to see that there is a good representation and showcase of what young people can really bring on board. So we have entrepreneurs looking at sustainable fashion. We have entrepreneurs looking at waste management. We have entrepreneurs looking at sustainable energy, and also quite many having ideas and innovations in sustainable agriculture. So you notice climate change is so much centered across those sectors that I just mentioned, and that's how 2025 ACIC is looking at. So this is a kind of balanced approach to showcase and bring to light that these are some of the things that have to be done or have to be focused on.
Now I quickly go to Ken Fak here. Now looking at 2026 for a young person, an innovator, that they have an idea, and how do they get into this? How do they apply? What is the criteria?
So first of all, you need to follow GAYO. You need to follow 3Es for Africa, and then you need to follow Startup Launch Africa, because these are the
How does one
implementing
follow
partners.
them, these organizations?
You go to Instagram, you go to X, you go to LinkedIn.
And follow, please be more audible when what you need to follow.
Yeah, so the 3 implementers, right? The 3 key partners for the ACIC. We have Green African Youth Organization, that's GAYO. We have 3Es for Africa as well. And then we have Startup Launch Africa. So you need to go to the different platforms, be it on LinkedIn, be it on Instagram, be it on X, follow them, so that once we launch, we open the applications for 2026 ACIC, you can apply. Another thing that's important is you mentioned the criteria. Number one, it's an innovation challenge, right? So we need to make sure that the people or the participants that are contributing or that are taking part in the competition have innovative projects. How innovative is your project or your startup compared to the others? Again, it's very competitive. This year we had 700 applications from 40 African countries, right? So we need to make sure that we push and that we support like the most innovative projects. Number 2, take the time to really fill out your application properly, right? Because only the applications that are filled properly get as much consideration compared to the others. That's very important. Also, how is your project or your solution relevant for the community? The impact is very important. That's a very important point. And then last but not least, the traction. What have you accomplished so far? What are your plans moving forward? I think anyone that takes into consideration all these different aspects has a very high chance of being part of the ACIC in 2026.
Now, this brings me to ask still, the future of this. We're going to talk about ACIC. What does the future looking through? Yes.
So we really want to have solutions or climate solutions that are diverse and that are very representative of the African continent, right? The continent is very diverse in many different levels. So we want to make sure that all of these different communities that make up the continent are represented. We definitely want to have a larger reach, right? Like I mentioned, we had the 700 applications from 40 African countries. We want to have a much higher reach. We want to be able to reach more African countries. We are very happy that this year we were able to have a good representation from French-speaking African countries, from North African countries. One of the finalists that is here in Uganda for the pitch is from Morocco, for example, right? So we want to make sure that we're able to have more reach within these different communities. Another point is we want to go bigger. We want to be able to support the entrepreneurs even more. And for that, we have to go back to our funders, we have to go back to our sponsors and supporters and say, all hands on deck, right? Give us even more support so that we can have more impact and support even more climate solutions. So that's where we're heading at.
Isaac, the pitch. What is this? What is this event?
So this event is really a diverse one. It is actually way beyond the innovations. It is way beyond the pitching. We are digging deep, even up to culture, our African heritage and culture. So and also we are looking at diversity. We want extremely great representation by everyone. from government, from private sector, from even the innovation hubs, and even the academia. They're going to be there. The people with disabilities, they're also going to be represented. Okay, it is a way diverse event, and me, I'm really so much excited that it's going to happen. We are happy and proud as Uganda to host such a continental event here in Kampala. We are really looking forward to even have more. So when it is going to be on the 29th of November 2025 here in Kampala at Hotel Africana. It will start exactly at 9 sharp and to end at 2 p.m. It's a half-day event, and it's going to be well organized, having a cultural troupe, you know. Just it's a lot. I can't do. I can't.
I see Kenfak wants to supplement, throw in more light.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more that I can add to what Isaac mentioned. I think we're going to have a very good representation of stakeholders all around the board, right? We're going to have some people that are really judges, our judges, for example, really experts in the climate space. We're going to have young people, youth representatives. So it's going to be a very dynamic event. We're also going to have some panel discussions touching on some of the points that we mentioned today. It's going to be very vibrant and dynamic. So I'm looking forward to it.
Now, as we try to bring this to an end, what is your parting shot to a young man out there, a young woman out there regarding climate change, and of course an opportunity like this where you can compete, and if your idea comes out as the best, there's so much that you stand to benefit?
I think I would say, I mean, if you are in Uganda, get closer to the organizations that are very active in the climate space in Uganda, for example, GAYO, right? If you have a climate idea, sometimes you need to do some research to make sure that it's a proven idea, right? For that, we can support 3E's for Africa. We can provide you support for that research phase. And I would say at the end of the day, just keep working on your idea, because when you start working, it gets easier as you go on, and it's easier for you to get support. So that would be my advice, I would say.
Well, thank you so much. And Isaac, finally.
Yeah, thank you so much once again. And my advice and parting shots, there are two. And one is that I want to empower youth to see that they can always show up. Showing up is very, very important, because we even have a saying in Uganda, like that atari wotagwirwa muti. And in Ruchiga, which is my culture, it says otari wotagwirwa muti.
More or less the same.
Yes, more or less the same, meaning show up at any given opportunity and make sure that you pursue it. And then another parting shot is that I implore every young person that you are the one that everyone is waiting for to tackle the biggest challenges that we have at the moment, and climate change is one of them. So please take the lead and take charge, because the future belongs to us. Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure having young men who are very passionate about climate change, and this is the climate change innovation. And of course, here they compete. If you become the winner, well, your idea, if it emerges the best, then of course you're supported to develop it. But also there's something that comes along with that. We hope to see a number of youth there. I can't wait to see who emerges the final winner and how that is going to transform climate change. We are all worried. We don't know what tomorrow holds for us when it comes to climate change. I'll let my guests go, and of course we have so much coming your way. We have business, we have tourism, express, and of course the agenda. Keep it with us.